everybody, I'm the Phoenix Queen, and if you first saw my introduction videos, I wanted to thank you very much for checking my channel out. And part of my community is, to discuss positively different kinds of topics that have to do with, what goes on in our everyday lives. And today what I want to talk about was communication. And the reason why I've chosen this topic today is because there were a couple of situations that happened this weekend that I felt were, good to talk about, because I'm sure they've happened to, not just me, but other people as well. So the first thing I want to talk about was some of my coworkers and I actually just got off work today. Some of my coworkers from my job were going out for laser tag yesterday, which was a lot of fun. And on Facebook, an old friend from high school had found me on Facebook, and I decided to, invite him out. Because, I like to invite my friends out to some of the things that I do. And so we arranged for me to pick him up. And this is where the communication part kind of comes in. Now, my phone does not have very good data or reception out here as is. So, and we were only communicating through Facebook. So I was, on my way to pick him up where he said he was going to be. Both locations, there was a sawmill that his father lived nearby, and the other place was near a fire department. I checked the fire department first. He wasn't there. Okay. So I went to the sawmill. Wasn't there either. And like I said, my phone doesn't have much data or anything, so I really couldn't get back to him. The best that I could do at that time was I actually had to go to the McDonald's parking lot to use the Wi-Fi there. And that was the only way I got in touch with him. And the problem with that is that I had to check the fire department and the sawmill several times, which was kind of annoying, because I had to go on the highway to do it. And another annoying thing about it was it was in the opposite direction of where we were going for laser tag. So when I finally got a hold of him, the first thing he did was say, "Sorry, I wasn't where I was supposed to be," and asked me if I was mad. The thing about that is, instead of asking whether or not I was mad, he could have at least told me where he was, because that's what I asked. So I asked him if he could go back to the firehouse, because that was actually slightly easier for me to get to. Well, when I finally got a hold of him again, the phone, the data, and that kind of stuff, he said he was already on his way to the restaurant where my coworkers and I were going to meet up for lunch. So you can imagine at this time I was a little bit miffed. So I drove there, and he met me there, and he apologized, which was, it was fine and all, but that's where communication comes in, because I let him know that my phone number was on my Facebook page, but he said he didn't feel comfortable calling that number. He didn't have my permission. That's fine. I get that he was being nice about it. Although later I did tell him that, if that ever happened again, he had my full permission to, let me know. Okay. But anyway, so we ate lunch, and then we went to laser tag, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. That was my first time ever, going to laser tag. So, and there were a lot of us there, not to mention I got a real workout from it. Aww.
Good morning, how are you?
All right.
Wait
how are you? Hi. Aww. Hi. Aren't you adorable?
Tell people I'm sorry he's so shy.
Oh, he's adorable. I gotta go now, okay?
All right, Tell her bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Oh, bye-bye. Have a good one.
You too.
They're around here really nice, aren't they? But yeah, that was my first time, doing laser tag. I had no idea laser tag was such a workout. I mean, I see, on the commercials that would advertise it, or you see it in videos or whatever. I mean, sure, people are pointing and they're running around, but then you're actually doing it. And wow, like right now my legs are kind of sore. So, and I worked up such a sweat. I had not expected to work up a sweat. But that was so much fun. Like, that was the best $18 I ever spent, because it was $18 for a triple play. It was awesome, and I really hope we do that again sometime. But, so yeah, we did all that. And, I dropped my friend off back at the firehouse, because he said he could walk to his grandmother's house from there. But yeah, I gave him full permission to use my phone, not use my phone, but to call my number if, we were ever having any kind of communication problems again. So that was that incident. If you're going to meet up with friends, or if you're going to make plans, first of all, make sure your phone has better data than mine. And second of all, just make sure you talk to each other. Make sure everybody has an idea of where you're going to meet up. If there's going to be a designated driver, and make sure everybody gets there on time. Like, don't tell somebody that you're going to be there in 5 minutes and they're sitting around waiting for you. Yeah, don't do that. So yeah, that's one thing that happened. And the second thing that happened was actually today. Now, what I do at my job is we make chicken salad and we steam the chicken. And then we shred it, then, it gets mixed. And, we ended up, that's the chicken salad for you. But, so in order to do that properly, after the chicken is steamed, it has to be cooled. Otherwise it won't shred properly and it'll get really mushy and all that. And a few times I would notice that, the consistency of the chicken after being shredded was a little mushy. And it's not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to get mushy until you add the other ingredients to it. And the reason why it would be at that particular consistency is because the chicken was either A, too warm, or B, it wouldn't. What would happen is if the chicken would be kind of broken in half, and there'd be more water in it than what needs to be. So I suggested, to my coworker that he not do that, and not break the chicken in half or anything. And he seemed to get a little pissed about it. I wasn't speaking to him in a, like in a bossy tone or anything, but he seemed to get really frustrated about it, and it left me concerned the whole time, because then he was pretty quiet for the rest of the time we were doing it. Now, not that he's usually like that anyway, and we actually have a good time making fun of him for it, but the whole time I was thinking that maybe I'd said something wrong, or I'd said something to offend him. I didn't like that. So, once it was over, I tried to talk to him, and I apologized if I may have said anything to offend him or anything, and he said everything was fine, which I appreciate. That's left me feeling a lot better about, what happened, because he seemed a little confrontational about it, and kind of wouldn't let me finish much of a sentence, and I actually had to ask him, hey, can you please let me finish? So the moral of that is, if you have something to tell somebody, if you're trying to give them any suggestions or constructive criticism, come at that person gently. Don't get all, up in their face, and don't get all mean about it, or act like that you're a know-it-all or something. because you don't know how that person's going to react. Even if you think you know their personality well enough, or if you think they're not going to take it a certain way, they might. Right, so just be careful about that. And if someone's giving you constructive criticism and you don't like how they're talking to you, there's nothing wrong with telling them that. That's another incident that happened. One of my supervisors was explaining some things to us, and she came off really, really harsh about it. And I can't speak for everybody else. I'm at my car, by the way, but I'll just sit here and talk with you for a little bit more. I don't take, I'm not gonna say I don't take constructive criticism well, but the way it came off was kind of like she was speaking to a bunch of first graders, which I got pissed about that. Like I was upset. But I don't particularly like confrontation, so I really didn't say anything to her, even when my area had a little powwow or something later on, and I was asked, hey, is there anything you want to add? I'm just gonna walk around a little bit more while I'm talking to you. It's cloudy out. It might rain later. But at the powwow, I didn't say anything. I was still upset. And a few days had gone by, and I noticed the work environment was a little, you could tell there was a vibe in the air. And I knew that it was my fault, because I was upset. And because I was upset, everybody around me was feeling that. And, everyone was kind of quiet, a little on edge, until finally my supervisors pulled me aside and we talked out what happened. And I talked about, how I felt about that. And I told her the words that she used, she shouldn't have used them. So, they took that to heart, which I appreciated. And I'm glad to say we haven't had any problems since. But that's wherein lies in what I just mentioned. If someone's, being a little more harsh than what you like, well, I don't know anyone who likes anyone to be harsh to them. But if they're coming off in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to pull them aside and, and to let them know that. So they can understand how you feel, and perhaps that something can be done about that. Now, they're the type of person that is like, oh, I don't care how you feel, you have to do what I say, and yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Those people just need help. But the best thing you can do is just, walk away from the situation, maybe speak to somebody who is in a higher position than them, but don't fire back, because then you're just going to make things worse. But like I said, in my situation, we were able to talk the problem out, and everything's been cool with this since, which I'm really happy to say about that. But overall, communication is just very important. People have to know how you're feeling in situations that come up where one party or the other is really uncomfortable walking back to the car. And yeah, if you're going out with a group of friends, talk to each other. Let somebody know where you're going to be, who's going to be driving, so you're not driving around like I was and basically wasting gas money. That wasn't fun. But yeah, so the best part of communication is to just do it. There might be a situation here or there where sometimes nothing comes out the way you want it to. And if you have a stronger voice, or a more authoritative tone, kind of like I do, try to take people's word when they say that you're coming off a bit harsh, because you might not see that at first. And I used to not do that. I used to think people were just being mean to me, but I would have to think about what people were talking about, and sometimes I would even have to think back to whatever it was that happened, And I would be like, wow, they were right. That probably was a little bit harsh. I'm not going to say I can't help it, because sometimes I can. But if that does happen, then just tone it down a little bit, you know? Because some people, might not have that kind of attitude where they can take it as well. And some people are just more sensitive than others, and you have to take that into consideration, because one's perception of you is, according to them, that's the reality. And you don't want people to go around thinking that you've got an attitude problem when you don't. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. Even though I'm just walking around, there are some hills here. But yeah, you don't want people to think that you have an attitude problem if you don't. Because I've been annoyed by that. People saying that I have an attitude problem when I clearly don't. Sometimes my tone just comes off a little authoritative, which I don't mean to happen most of the time. So overall, communication, it's just very important in your everyday life. Letting people know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, why you're doing it, maybe. And, and constructive criticism is also part of communication, even though most people don't like it, such as myself. But, I don't think it's the constructive criticism in itself. I think it's the way it comes off that depends on, how people will, perceive it. So if you're the type of person that, has a stronger voice like I do, or, has a more authoritative tone, take it down a notch. Just take it down a notch. It won't hurt. I promise you, it won't hurt. You can still be taken seriously without coming off like a jerk. So, in that, I hope that if you're having any problems with communicating with someone, pull them aside and just give it a try. Just talk to them. You never know. Something good might come out of it. Hopefully something good comes out of it. And if not, like I mentioned earlier, if they want to, get an attitude about that, you said what you had to say. You were the bigger person. You can walk away now. There's nothing else that can be done. That's just it. So I am now once again back near to my car, and I'm going to get going home because there are storms where my other job is, and so they told me not to bother to come in because it is a bit of a drive to get there. So I'm going to end the video here. Sorry if all this cloudiness has kind of made the picture seem a bit dark. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you got something good out of it. Write down the comments below if you have anything to say about communication, or if you have a story to tell. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, other than that, thanks so much. And just remember, we're all buried beneath the ashes that life throws at us. But if we work together, one day we will all be able to rise from those ashes like the phoenixes we are. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.